going on? I had a chance to play out the Graia Forge world with the Adeptus Mechanicus yesterday, and it was pretty fun. I used the Knight Crusader with the Gatling gun, thermal cannon, the Iron Storm missiles. I used the Armiger Warglaive, and there went all my points. So I also took a unit of breachers, like 5 units of different infantry, arc rifles, couple plasma guns, 3 arquebuses, took 2 tech priests, 2 engine seers, and 15 jazz hand electro priests, and 10 stick electro priests. And I played against 1,000 Suns. So it was pretty cool to really try out, like, the one chance we have against psychic damage, and also the ability to have a 50% chance of stopping a psychic power. So I stopped warp time on Magnus. He still made an 11-inch charge on his first turn into my knight, and actually, let's wait a second. I went first, and my opponent failed to seize, I believe, or actually, I think I seized the initiative. I can't really remember. For some reason, though, I went first, and it was, like, sad how little damage output I had for going first. I had no alpha strike, because my army was almost entirely infantry who were all out of range. I had a unit of breachers with heavy arc rifles, so they shot. He had no vehicles. I had the thermal melt-a-gun on the Knight Armiger, and that might have done something. I think I shot it at Magnus. And then I shot everything from the Knight Crusader at Magnus. And I put like 3 or 4 wounds on him only, and that's like all I did. I think I killed 2 pink horrors. So then he went, did a whole bunch of psychic powers. I was rolling really nice on my 6-up 6-up refusal to yield saves. It was pretty hilarious. Like, so his turn comes, he charges with Magnus. I stop warp time, so he declares a unit in front of him, and then also the Knight, who he would need an 11 to make the charge into the Knight Crusader. And I overcharged my plasma gun on Overwatch. 2 plasma cavaliers, so 4 shots at Magnus. Both guys die from rolling 1s, and then I roll double 6s, and both of them are not dead. That's how cool that actually is. It was perfect. And my Knight Crusader put 12 wounds on Magnus in Overwatch. So he was not rolling lucky with Magnus's saves at all. And which really lucked out for me, because he charges into Magnus, or Magnus charges into my Knight. And he's a big rusty Knight, so he's gritty. And because he lost an attack, because he took so many wounds, he did 18 wounds to the Knight. And that put him at, like, 20. I think he did, like, 2 on him from a psychic power in the psychic phase. So it put him at 20, and that means the Knight lived, which is usually not the case when Magnus charges you. But if he's not fully buffed up, 18 wounds is still no joke, and he was almost dead. But at that point, I could just back out, and so I kicked him 12 times, battle cannon, and I didn't kill him. So my turn comes around. Now, all this stuff is much closer. And this is where the Armiger Warglaive actually was pretty cool, because he seemed so far away, and then he just ran 14 right next to a Exalted Sorcerer for the 1,000 Suns, and just melted him with his D3 cannon. And I rolled Snake Eyes, on my damage. So he was fine. He just took 2 wounds. So, or took 1 wound, right? 2 dice picked the highest. So, Knight backs out. We just shoot Magnus to death. I was going to keep him alive and charge him with my stick warrior priest, because in Graia they have to walk, which is not ideal. But I knew the Thousand Suns. Actually, I didn't. I mean, I figured they were going to come at me, especially with, like, warp time and stuff, so I figured walking's fine. And also, I don't care, right? I'm just going to take them. Because they're actually, if you want to go super resilient, they're the most resilient. Because they're a 5-up invuln, 5-up feel no pain. And then if they fail all that, they're on a 6, they just don't die. So they have a lot of layers of saves. So they could have charged Magnus and got in the 3-up invuln, but I wasn't too worried about it, so I went with tried to go for a long bomb charge on them, because I just ended up killing Magnus in the shooting phase. And they failed their long bomb charge. The Armiger charged the Changeling and started sawing him up with his little chain cleaver. And I had 15 Jazz Hand Electro Priests who got tied up with the Demon Prince. And just for the remainder of the game, like, the Demon Prince just killed them all. And usually they're pretty good just at the volume of hits and wounds that they put out, but for some reason they just did nothing to the Demon Prince, so it was unfortunate for them. Anyway, we played another turn. We were using open war, so it was like I had the 2 corners of the battlefield, so let's... so if this is the battlefield, I was basically in these 2 corners, and he had a big triangle in the middle. So it was like a triangle that way, and then 2 triangles on the corner. So my deployment was split, like, on the sides. And so we battled it out. His Zangors drop in 30 of them, or 29 of them, and they're going to save his characters from the rampaging armature. And they fail their charge, and I have a 10-man unit of Vanguard with 3 arc rifles and an arc pistol, and plus a knight who's hitting on 5s, and I'm repairing him. I'm using command points to double repair him. And actually, now that I think about it, I might have cheated that, because it just dawned on me. I think the knight, when I repair him, he's only supposed to get 1, even if a tech priest repairs him. And I was definitely doing D3, so I'll have to check that in the book. I might have cheated that one, because I was using command points to heal him 2 D3, and I might have only been able to heal him 2, now that I'm re-talking about it a day later, so I might have done that wrong, but most of the time I was just getting like 3 wounds back on him, so it would have been less by 1. I never rolled like 6 heal or nothing. He pretty much was almost dead the rest of the game after Magnus chopped him up. But anyway, so he killed all the Xangors. His Terminators charged in to my Breachers, and my Breachers just fought him like pretty good. And they were wounding him on 2s, because the Breachers, I think, were strength 6 or something. And because I had Vanguard there, the Terminators were only toughness 3. Or at the very least, I was wounding him on 3s. And he was just rolling a 1 every once in a while. And he killed the same Breacher like 4 times. And I just kept rolling the 6. And he would just come back. You know, he just doesn't die. Or he would kill like a Vanguard unit. And then, like, you'd roll morale and 3 or 4 of them and run away, but because that could be, say your 10-man unit, he kills 6, and you have 4 guys left, and all 4 run away. Now you roll 4 dice, because the Graia also a refusal to yield is a 6-up save against death and morale. So if all 4 of them are going to run away, you roll 4 dice, and if at least one's a 6, 1 guy will remain, which is the difference of locking somebody in combat or not locking somebody in combat. So if it's your captain with an arc pistol, that's a arc pistol shot, you know, into that unit or whatever, however you want to play it. But it's pretty powerful. It did not feel nearly as alpha strike devastating as Mars or even like Lucius, which is what I play a lot, is Lucius. But But that also, I mean, once you spend like 800 points on 2 knights, like a big one and a little one, I had no Doom Crawlers, no Chicken Walkers, no Castellan robots. So, my Alpha Strike, whatever army I played, was pretty minimal. But it was a fun time. And actually, Graia prevailed. So, we called it. Once the Demon Prince finished chopping through a bunch of stuff, I just unloaded into him, got him closest, and just started going to town on him. The Armiger did finally die to Ahriman, but not after he ran in and chopped up another 2 Terminators, Scarab Terminators or whatever. So he was alright. It was cool having something move that fast that has like a lot of threat. The Thousand Suns army was going heavy into just like Marines and Psychic powers, a lot of characters. I think there was like Ahriman, a Demon Prince, Magnus, 2 units of Marines, 1 unit of Terminators, and 2 Exalted Sorcerers, a unit of Pink Horrors, and a Changeling. So they were going to get their damage from mortal wounds mostly. And we were using this Smite at a -1 every time, or +1 to difficulty, whatever it is. And this was the first time I actually had a save of any kind in the Psychic phase with just the 6-up. So that was pretty cool. It was a good game. I was happy Graia won. Just trying out a fun army, and we weren't doing anything too competitive. Usually, even if I play somebody who has a competitive list, most of the time I just take whatever. It doesn't interest me in trying to win that much, I guess. My strategy is make a list that sounds cool in my head, like all infantry guys and my 2 knights, the Armiger and the Crusader. Sounds cool. So I'm going to make that list. Now the game starts in deployment or whatever. Now I'm going to try to win, but not at the expense of having a good time. So if my idea is an all Scion army or all Swooping Hawk army or whatever, and now I'm not talking about spam, I'm talking about thematic mental illness, that, I will play it and then I'll try to win during the game, but I don't spend, unless I'm going to attend an event, I'll try to make like a decent list so I don't get stomped like 4 or 6 games or whatever. So anyway, that's a little recap of Graia for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Pretty cool. It's fun. I used the stratagem to stop spells. It worked twice. I only used it twice, so that's pretty cool. Did not feel anywhere near the power of Wrath of Mars or the teleport any unit or infiltrate any unit or +1 to your damage on plasma gun, whatever. So, whatever. It's worth a try. I don't really mix Forge Worlds. If I ever get these Tyranids or Eldar, or if I do the Necrons, I'd maybe consider mixing the Forge World. Or that'd be maybe the first time I actually consider trying that out. Yes, I know it's better. No, I don't know if I care enough. But when it comes to like the Tyranids, some of them, like, for sure do not help. Like, there's the shooty hive fleets that help the shooty bugs, and the like hand-to-hand or resilient hive fleets that help, the hand-to-hand ones or the fast-moving ones, whatever. With the Eye Guard that I'm working on, I will have a detachment of Scions. So I guess that is kind of like splitting, because it'll be Vostroyan and then a detachment of Scions. But I hardly ever play the same list more than like a few times. I get too bored. I have to keep switching it up, right? And that's not to say, I don't play the same units, because, right, you only have so much money and so much painted and so much time. But like my list yesterday with Graia, all infantry and 2 knights, my list I took to Adepticon was Mars. It had no knights, 3 chicken walkers, no electro priests. I had 25 electro priests last night. So, I mix it up. Sometimes I deep strike units of Vanguard when I play Lucius, just because they got arc rifles and they're cheap, and depending on how many command points you got. So anyway, a little Adeptus Mechanicus review for everybody versus the Thousand Suns. Hopefully this is interesting enough to just listen to. There's probably no value in really watching this video, but something fun to put on in the background, or while you're working on something, or if you're thinking about trying out a different Forge world, I highly encourage it. I'll probably be playing Graia for the next few weeks, if not months, and then I'll switch on to another one and try another one. I know I like Lucius, I know I like Mars. I don't have Call, so I'm not all in on the standing still tactic, which is, that just doesn't interest me. Making like a big reroll bubble, castle, whatever you call it, bubble or castle, stand still and reroll all my dice. Like, I don't know. If I wanted to like reroll all my dice, I could just play at home by myself. If that makes any sense. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. Like, I don't mind rerolling ones or having some rerolls, but to like take a Balsarius Call and 6 Castellan robots and 3 Dune crawlers and just pack them all in around them. Ooh. You rolled some dice and re-rolled them and killed some models. I don't know. And you didn't move all game. How exciting. So, not my thing. Hopefully, obviously just do whatever makes you happy. But like I said, for me, I get the most joy out of just playing different armies and trying to win during the game, but not before the game. It doesn't interest me. Before the game, I try to win in spending a lot of time on painting models, basing models, things like that. Because if I do attend an event, the only thing I'm interested in competing in is best appearance. I'll probably make another video about that, but let me check the time here. Make a video about that, but I thought I was gonna compete in best appearance at Adepticon, and wow, people really go to town at those big events. Very nice, very nice. So I'd have to go back and clean up some stuff and like actually pick up all the little trim and whatnot on the armor panels if you really wanted to compete at that level of an event. But my army does stand up pretty darn well to the competition at like a mid-size event. So it just depends on who shows up and what they bring, and how well they painted it. So hopefully these guys, they're a little wonky looking, but hopefully the Thousand Suns will look pretty striking when they're done. And hopefully the Australians and the Oathway and all of them will look good. But anyway, that was my Graia vs. Thousand Suns. Talk to you soon.